make my failure so small that I can easily overcome them. Do not launch products without talking to your real users and customers. See, I worked with so many stakeholders who have a lot of unreasonable demands. As a product manager, if I start building everything my stakeholders ask for, I pretty soon run out of the budgets. For example, I have seen many products die because your response time is bigger than the market window. So do not try to predict too much into the future. Great product managers, they learn faster than competitors.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Product Leadership Show. My name is Shubhajit Ghosh, and today we are going to be talking about something which is very, very critical, very, very important. We're going to be talking about why 90% of products actually fail and what do successful product managers do differently. And of course, to share some wonderful insights on the same, we have an expert in the house. His name is Mr. Shekhar Bura. Thank you so much, sir. He's a renowned product global coach, product expert, and basically everything that you need to understand about the world of dynamics of product is something you need to understand from this man. Thank you so much, sir. What a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me here. I'm Shekhar Bura. I have been working with several product leaders before as a product coach and helping leaders to understand building relevant products that matters a lot, because I have been working with so many leaders in the past where they build beautiful products
Right.
and smart engineers, but they keep building these products that no one wanted. And that is where the real challenge usually comes in. So that's why I'm very excited to talk about my experience here on this show. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, sir. And you mentioned about challenges. So could you kindly tell us about the challenges that we currently face in terms of implementation?
Yeah. So, there was something called a Standish Group. They did a lot of surveys of various projects, and it was very old survey. It was in 2012. And what they told us, 42% of the projects failed. The success criteria was on time, on scope, on budget. And more than 52% of the projects have been challenged. You would have blown out at least one parameter out of those three. And only 6% of the projects were successful. So assuming that you have a lot of money in your pocket, would you want to fund those projects that has only 6% of success?
Yeah.
No. And they also found out that more than half of the features that you build in a product were never used by our customers. So, for example, how many apps do you have in your cell phone, roughly? So,
10, 15.
And how many do you use every day?
Hardly all of them.
So, it means that many of these users, they don't use a lot of what we are building in these products, right? And that is a real challenge that we often see. We build so many things that our customers don't want it.
Right.
And we build so much of irrelevant products that no one wanted to use it. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think there is a vacuum that needs to be looked upon very, very seriously. Sir, you were talking about products and, the kind of uses that it has, not all of them gets used, etc. If I can carry forward a question from there, which is very relevant in this matter, is that what do you think are the key differences between product, program, and project?
Okay.
If you could outline the differences based on your expertise.
So this is something that is many of them, it's very confusing for many of them, honestly.
I'm myself confused.
Yeah. So there is a textbook definition for a project. A project is a temporary endeavor. A project has a start date, a fixed scope, and a specific end date, which we are not going to meet. So how many times we met the date of a project? Not many times. So on the contrary, a product has a start date and keeps evolving until the product is shut down. So majority of the products have an ever evolving nature. But, program is a collection of related projects. So what I often see is many people were doing projects in the name of product development. So there's a huge confusion out there. We have so many project managers pretending to be a product manager. There are so many product leaders who are doing program management. the world is so confused that people are doing a lot of fixed things when the world is always evolving. And that is, to me, the biggest risk and challenge that I see. So if you are a product manager, if you are someone who's owning the product, you got to be really thinking long term, and you got to be visioning the product in the way the market wanted it. You got to talk to your customers and make sure that, am I building the right thing that my real customers wanted it or not?
So, sir, if my understanding goes right, basically it's very, very important that one doesn't remain stagnant.
Yeah.
One moves ahead with time
Yeah.
so that you can understand the key difference.
Yeah. So whatever my customers wanted yesterday, they no longer wanted now.
Right.
So it's always about
Evolving process.
evolving your product and making it relevant and useful to your end customers.
Right. Thank you so much, sir, for, I hope that the clarity that you gave in terms of the key differences, that will help our audience understand, why and how they're so different from each other. They're not the same things. You mentioned that there's a lot of effort sometimes, sir, that goes into making a product, right? But not everybody gets the desired rate of success, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about an instance where you have seen that there's been a lot of effort on a product development, this, that, etc. But at the end of the day, it's like a humongous failure, a big bang failure, if I could put it that way. Right?
Yeah.
Can you point out an instance for?
So I call it as more of a flop show. See, I was working with a founder where I discovered this just at the end of the failure. So the founder was building an ABC platform
Right.
for gamified insurance.
Okay.
So they built it for almost 9-10 months. They rented a beautiful space. They made a lot of interiors inside, and then they hired a team. They were developing this gamified insurance for more than 9-10 months. And you have all the points, all the badges, all the levels, all the streaks in that gamified insurance. And they launched it on one blue moon day into the market.
Okay.
And then, what happened? You have users confused about what is this gamified insurance is all about. They don't want gamified insurance. All they wanted was, okay, what is my coverage? How much I have to pay for? Or maybe how long will it take for my claim to get settled?
Right.
So these were the questions that was totally unanswered. And that is where they built the product and closed the doors. They were not talking to customers. There were a lot of assumptions that were built in. The key assumption that they made was, when I make a gamified insurance, people wanted it, or my users wanted it. And that was not really the case. And most of the time, I have seen many product failures where I have seen so many leaders, they make the product in their mind. They make the product idea in their mind and start working on it, start building on it. And then finally, it's a big boom. So if you ask my opinion, some of the real challenges or some of the real risks that I would say is, the first thing is a business risk. Is there a real market for it? The next thing is value risk. Do my customers really care for it? Feasibility risks. Let's say, for example, hey, you know what? Can we really build it?
Right.
Or the last thing is usability risks. Even if we build it, can these people really use it? And most of the time, what happens? They might check one or two, but they don't check all the four. They make their own set of assumptions and they release it blindly into the market. And then finally, they end up in a situation where they don't want this product. The users don't want this product. And because of it, the entire budget we allocated for it has gone.
Down the drain.
Yeah, down the drain. Yeah.
I'm reminded of an old saying which says that failing to plan is planning to fail. So I think this was more of that kind of mindset, right? There's so much of conversation that always happens about, what an ideal product manager should do. These are the do's that they should definitely focus on. But given your expertise, there's also two sides of the coin, right? So what is the flip side of the coin? Or if I put it this way, what are the things that a product manager, if he or she wants to be successful, should 110% avoid and not even get into their minds at all?
Yeah. So if I'm the product manager, I always think about make my failure so small that I can easily overcome them. We are not saying that you should not fail, but at the same time, we always say that, hey, you know what? Make your failure so small that you can easily overcome them. So it is not that you are burning bridges to fail. So having said that, I have one small checklist for product managers that they should not be doing it. One, do not launch products without talking to your real users and customers. That's one.
Okay.
Start validating a lot of assumptions that you are building in. For example, you wanted to build a product to rent EV bikes online. How do you know that there is a real demand for this in the market or not?
Right.
So I have seen many product leaders, they start assuming a product idea in the market and start building it. And they go very far until they discover that, hey, you know what? No one is going to rent my EV bikes. That's one thing. So you got to validate your demand. Every product or a business idea must start with hypothesis statement. If you're not proving the hypothesis, then probably you are building a wrong product. So do not get overwhelmed by stakeholder request. So most of the time, the stakeholders tell you so many things. I want everything in this world, but I only have next 1 month to get it done. They pretty much wanted everything in life. They want but they only have 1 month. That's one. And then do not confuse what I call it as half-baked products with MVPs. So MVP has a very different meaning altogether. So every time we start building half-baked ones, and then we call it as MVP. So that is also something that you got to be avoiding if you're a real product manager.
Thank you, sir. For breaking it down so wonderfully. You mentioned this word MVP, right? I want to understand, and I'm sure there are various other curious minds like me who want to really understand what an MVP actually is, because there can be multiple definitions, but when you have it from an expert, I think it definitely helps. So tell us more on that.
So MVP to me is a deliberate attempt to understand if there is a real interest in the market for my product idea or not. So how do I validate the demand for a specific product idea? For example, if you take that Dropbox example, Dropbox initially was designed, let's say you have a file on Windows, and can I really open it on Mac or iOS or whatever?
Right.
Yeah. So, what they did was Dropbox, they they showed a video of demonstrating, hey, you know what, I uploaded this file on Windows, now I can open the same file on Mac without losing the content. And then the beta waiting list moved from 5,000 to 75,000 literally overnight.
Wow.
That was the biggest evidence that they got so that they can move forward building that idea. So how do you know that your product idea has a lot of demand in the market or not? So you got to go through that discovery cycle where most of the time people say that I'm building MVP every sprint. No, that is not really true. Most of the time you got to understand if my product idea has a real demand and how do I validate my demand in the market or not, or maybe somewhere with my specific experts or not. You got to validate. So I can get so many ideas in my dream, but unless I validate each of these ideas,
Right.
I don't know which of this idea is going to really work in the market. And I always see this, it is going to hunt you sometime down the line where You missed it now, but it is going to come back and it is going to be very, very costly for you down the line when the development happens.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing those insights. Of course, we have to talk about something which is very, very relevant for everybody, but more relevant for you because it's your favorite topic, product discovery.
Yeah.
What do you have to, kind of share on that?
Yeah. See, product discovery, majority of the product managers, they're not doing it these days. So recently I was talking to one of the wealth management company. They were offering portfolio services to set of users
Right.
who doesn't even understand what is a portfolio. Yeah. So
Mismatch.
yeah, complete mismatch, And most of the time, this is what I'm seeing all the time. People have too many assumptions in their mind and then they keep building it. So one thing which I often see is in a product discovery, talk to your real customers and users whom you are building this product for. And do not skip the cycle of validation. You got to validate it, validate your most riskiest assumption. And most of the time, I have seen many product managers, they don't know how to write assumptions. They don't know how to validate assumptions also. And do not build something based on your gut. Do not build something because you are feeling it. Do not skip testing. Do not again start coding right from the day one. And majority of the products, they go down the drain. The budgets you allocated down the drain, like
Right.
out. So I have a simple frameworks out, OOSC, I call it as
Right.
outcomes, opportunities, solutions, and assumptions.
Okay.
So I would want the majority of the product managers to align to this framework while they are building or while they are doing the discovery cycle. That's what I often see.
I think this OSA is something that's going to help a lot of people, especially all those product managers who are looking forward to getting the right kind of discovery done. If there's a product, there's a market, and there's of course stakeholders involved.
Yeah.
If I talk about the comic part of it, they want everything within a certain time, right? Even if that's humanly possible or not.
Yeah.
What's your experience of stakeholders? What do you want to talk about them?
See, I worked with so many stakeholders who have a lot of unreasonable demands. So most of the stakeholders, they say that I only have, as I said before, I only have 1 month time and I want everything within this 1 month. And which is practically not even possible, Yeah. So majority of the stakeholders, they don't understand the trade-offs between building something faster versus building something really valuable.
Right.
Yeah. So if as a product manager, if I start building everything my stakeholders ask for, I pretty soon run out of the budgets. And that is why I don't intend to build everything which my stakeholders want. As a product manager, I would always look at what purpose it is going to solve. Does it really add to the product vision? Okay. So there is a specific framework called as Kano model. Kano model is something, if you are especially dealing with stakeholders who doesn't know what they want, you can always use this Kano model.
Okay.
So where they try to segment the requirements into multiple categories. For example, you have basic or linear category, and you have exciters, you have delighters, you have reverse requirements. So you have set of requirements where, for example, reverse requirement is the more of these requirements, your customers will be very, very unhappy with it. So there are specific frameworks available. If you as a product manager who are working with your stakeholders, and you can employ and try to segment the requirements based on what a customer really, really looks for. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Wanted to understand, nothing is really permanent, right? So how do actually products become obsolete in the long run?
Yeah, so that's painful, but that is the real truth. Any business idea or product idea is temporary.
Right.
So it loses its relevance to the market. For example, I have seen many products die because your response time is bigger than the market window. So what does that mean? So I have seen great products die because as a product manager, you cannot react within that opportunity window. So my customer behavior is changing, and my opportunity window is very limited. And as a product manager, I cannot react within the opportunity window. And then with the current AI models in place, this is even getting worse and worse. Your customer behavior is rapidly changing.
Right.
Whether you like it or not, the customer behavior is changing. And my product managers, most of the leaders out there, they cannot react to this ever-changing market window. And because of which, majority of the products are becoming obsolete. They are losing relevance to the business environment in which they were developed. And that's what I have been seeing recently. With AI introduction, this problem has become even more worse. Yeah.
Sir, you mentioned about opportunity window, right? I'm sure at the end of the day, it's an industry jargon. If you could break it down for audience who want to understand what is an opportunity window.
Yeah. Take an example of a news channel, right? When do you see majority of the users coming into the news channel? For example, let's say there are special events like elections, or special events like budgets, or there are so many special events, right? Where you have 5x or 10x number of users
Right.
visiting this news channel, which compared to very less in normal days.
Correct.
But now you have so many new users visiting the channel. Now, do you have a product team, which is monetizing these many number of extra users? So that is what I call it as an opportunity window. Every product, for example, if you take some of the COVID products where we used to wear masks and everything, so during that time, they had a big opportunity window to monetize it. And then, the demand went up like anything. And then after that, the demand just came down. Yeah. So those are special situations for every business, every product to encash on the opportunity windows. And majority of the businesses out there, majority of the products out there, they're not well prepared for such kind of opportunity windows.
Wow. I think it's a great learning curve for everybody of course, when things are going good, that's great. But things can even get better. You should always be prepared for it.
Yeah.
I think, sir, it's been a great detailed discussion so far about products, product managers, what one should do, what one should not do. But of course, there are certain important elements which still we need to talk about before we kind of close this session. My very important question is, what, according to you, are some of the most important and valuable skills that product managers must have?
See, I believe one important skill is hypothesis validation.
Right.
So every product or a business have an hypothesis. I'm making an hypothesis before I'm jumping into it. Without validating the hypothesis statement, it is all wasted time, wasted money, wasted engineering effort. To me, hypothesis statement is a compass. The more I validate it, the more chances that my product idea is going to be successful in the market. Yeah. That's what I see most of the time. Many product managers, they just go and blindly build it. And it is too long until they realize that, hey, you know what? I don't have a demand for this in the market.
So, sir, given all the experience and expertise that you have in all these years, if I can ask you about your observation regarding some of the great things that great product managers do or have done so far, which has worked a successful pattern.
So, great product managers, they learn faster than competitors. So they just get into an area where there is a lot of opportunity than any other competitors they go into. And great product managers, they do a lot of validation of hypothesis and assumptions. And great product managers also, they are really smart at playing the trade-offs. Trade-off between time, value versus risk. They know how to play it off really well. So these are the core essential skills for any product leader. How fast you are learning than your competition, to how good you are validating your hypothesis and assumption, and how smart you can really make the trade-offs between so many variables that you got it.
Nicely pointed, sir. And I think just one quick question that just came in my mind right now. I would love to add it. Those young students out there who see themselves as great product managers in the future. It's a changing time right now. You talked about AI as well, right? Uh, what are those things that they should keep in mind, because they are moving forward in the era of AI?
Yeah.
So the future product managers,
Yeah.
what are the things that they should be very, very well prepared with?
So one thing that I often say to new product managers or these founders of startups, I would say is how good you are really at rapid prototyping. Do not assume that everything in the world is something that you know it. So I call it as more of predictability. So do not try to predict too much into the future, and do smaller experiments, do prototypes, show it to your real users and customers, take the feedback and make it better over a period of time rather than doing things really big bang. Everything big bang, I have seen majority of the time has almost 90% of the failure rate. The big bang releases, big bang budget allocations, big bang time management, or big bang project management, everything big bang has its own fair share of failures. So that's why how good you are at rapid prototyping, and then how can you really create those smaller increments, and how well you are understanding your customers in the market and make it really big and disruptive into the market. That's what I would look at.
Thank you, sir. And I think it's been a great learning curve for everybody. Some of the key takeaways that I have learned, I believe I must share, which is apart from the skill sets and the basics, one is that you got to get your basics right. Patience is the ultimate virtue. You can't rush into things. Like I mentioned earlier, that failing to plan is planning to fail.
Yeah.
Do your research correctly. And at the same time, keep everything, put the customer in priority. These are some of my takeaways.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, sir. It's been a great learning curve from your end. And we look forward to more such insightful sessions from you.
Thank
you
so much.
That
Thank
you
you, everyone.
everyone.
So if you are a product manager who is watching this podcast, what is that one thing you wanted to change in your existing product leadership so far? Okay, you can probably put it in the comment as well. Thank you so much.
Sir might answer that in the next one.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.